One other side note, I did near the end of this year, gifted myself with 3 sessions with your sister,
Yeah.
and those were really really helpful too. So if anybody's on the fence about doing that, or having some kind of honed in, specialized, just for you things, that has made a big difference for me too. So I just wanted to share that.
Well, is it okay if I can just ask a couple questions about that then?
Sure.
Yeah, so when you were working with Cindy, did you have a particular like block you wanted to clear, or did you just kind of say, "Hey, see what you see, and show me what's up"?
Yeah, so I did a 3 session package. So in the beginning, I came in wanting to clear more of my blocks around love and relationships, and continue to attract in higher and higher quality experiences. And so we started with that, and in that, it was really surprising because she uncovered a lot of just worthiness blocks and things that I had thought that I was over, So I appreciate the fact that she did, that she helped me hone in on that, because I would have been cleared in other directions, and which would have been wonderful, but it wouldn't have been getting to the heart of what the issue was.
Yeah.
As directly, and so I appreciate having somebody else to help identify that for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, after the first session, we then moved on to just kind of generally, I just had her, what do you feel, and to find things, because I felt like that might be more useful to me than trying to pick a topic. That just, if I enhance my whole life, then my whole life changes, and I want some enhancement in lots of areas. So
Yeah. So for everybody watching, when you get on with a personal consultation, you can say, "Hey, I have some abundance blocks. Let's kind of work on that." And basically, in coaching, my sister or I, like the internal question that we're always asking is, "What's the root of this issue?" And so it really doesn't matter what somebody says they think their real issue is, love or money or whatever, because at the end of the day, it's usually some other core kind of thing that kind of ties into all the things. So, yeah. So I'm just kind of explaining to the audience, because they're like, well, what do you do in a session, really? and when some people do sessions, and every session's totally different. Some people are kind of tired after the session. Some people are really uplifted. Some people, so did you have any like kind of physical things change, when you were doing the session?
So during the session, I was pretty relaxed. After the first session, I had a lot of energy and felt really uplifted right afterwards. But then in the following days, my gremlins came to life, and I really was feeling kind of down. And I actually turned to the Facebook group at that time, and I don't tend to be a big poster, but I posted and I said, "Hey, I just had my first session with Cindy, and it was great, but I'm really struggling with this now because I'm starting to have a lot of things bubble up." And the Facebook group showed up for me, and Cindy commented even, and helped me to kind of clear that out of the way. So I was there for a couple days, and then I continued to do the homework that she gave me. She gave me a lot of personal what would it takes, and this is what you need to clear, and this is what you need to fill in with energetically, and that helped a lot. And then by the time I got to session 2 and 3, it was a much more positive experience. One, I think because I had cleared some things, but also because I wasn't so thrown off when the negative stuff came up, because it was there to be cleared, and I saw it in a different light. So I was appreciating that it was coming up, so I could get rid of it.
Yeah. So again, for those of you guys watching, what happens in a session is we'll find like the root problem, right? Or whatever issue, energy. And then, you kind of add light to it, and it starts to burble up. And then usually, again, it depends what issue we're covering, and it depends which person. We're all wired differently. Mm-hmm. But then the what she's saying is, it's like you add light to something, and then it kind of comes up as it kind of clears out of your field. And when it clears out of your field, sometimes you'll have all the thoughts and feelings of that energy as it's leaving. So if it was like an anxious pattern, you might feel anxious while it's leaving for a day or two. And if you just keep adding light, it just speeds up the process or whatever. But the good news is, once it's cleared, it's cleared. Like when you think of that issue or that subject or that energy, you won't be able to feel it anymore. I remember one time this lady had broken her toe, and I cleared all the issues around why it happened, okay? Because there was some emotional stuff about it. And I remembered running into her like 2 months later, and it was like in a little grocery store, an organic grocery store. And anyway, I said, "Hey, how's your foot?" And like she looked at me, goes, "What do you mean, my foot?" Like she literally couldn't remember like her foot thing because just like literally all the energy was gone from it. Yeah. And so it wasn't even part of her reality or her world anymore. And she just started laughing when I reminded her of it, because she was like, "Oh my God, like I literally just don't even, cognate on that anymore." Yeah. So that's really, really cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and so kind of people want to know, and I don't know how long ago you had the sessions with Cindy, but they're probably thinking, well, like, what do you feel like now after you've done the 3 sessions?
Yeah, so I started them in April, and just because of scheduling things, I actually just finished last week, or the week before last was my last session. Okay. So I feel good. I feel like I still I'm still continuing to do the homework and clear some of the issues, particularly that we talked about in the last session, and filling in with a lot of light, like you were just talking about, and a lot of positive energy around those things. But I feel good. I feel like I have a path going forward, and so that feels good that I can continue to work on those things.
Yeah, perfect. Oh, well, thank you so much for sharing that. That's really exciting, and keep in touch, because we want to know what happens, all the cool new manifestations you're going to have this year.
It's my pleasure, and thank you so much to you and Cindy and the whole team. I really have appreciated learning. Yeah.